Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Curious Kingdom. Today we are recapping action thriller movie Accident Man 2. In an underground nightclub, the crowd swayed to the rhythm of the music while the DJ noticed the small fire and instructed his assistants to connect more gas pipes. Once the music started, an explosion propelled him backwards, attributed to Mike, who had planted a bomb in response to the DJ's request for more fire. Mike is a professional hitman hired by DJ's manager due to resentment for dropping him. Following the incident, Mike retreated to his villa and enjoyed a chilled beer in the yard, anticipating a $42,000 transfer to his account. As he entered his home, he was suddenly attacked, and a masked assailant repeatedly struck him, even breaking his beer bottle with ease. The onslaught continued, causing damage to Mike's possessions, including his newly acquired TV. Amid the chaos, Mike implored the masked man to halt, ultimately resorting to uttering the words "flirting bird" to make the attacker stop. The unexpected revelation emerged that the assailant was Sue Ling, a woman Mike had met at a bar in Hong Kong. At the time, Sue Ling worked as a bodyguard, and recognizing her formidable martial arts skills, Mike enlisted her to train him. As part of their arrangement, Sue Ling would ambush Mike weekly, and he would compensate her with a $1,000 wage for each encounter, easily earned money. Prior to departing, the attractive individual couldn't resist delivering an insult to Mike with the words, "Too weak, akin to my neighbor's performance when he's in bed with a woman." 2 days later, Mike found himself in a bar where he spotted his old pal Fred getting forcefully ejected. Fred had repeatedly ignited a guard, dispatching the other two with his tool, albeit running out of gas. Fortunately, Mike arrived just in time to rescue Fred from a dire situation. Once Fred was safe, Mike inquired about the reason for his presence. The stout fellow explained that he was here in search of a bear and his assassination business, along with Big Ray, had gone bankrupt due to Mike's actions in the first part, rendering them unemployable. It was truly regrettable. Learning this, Mike could only offer his apologies, and Fred proudly showcased a picture of his new girlfriend online to Mike. Mike extended an invitation for Fred to temporarily seek refuge at his place to evade the authorities. As they reached the wardrobe, Sue Ling unexpectedly ambushed Mike. The attractive assailant delivered a kick and silenced Fred's protests by injuring his mouth. Mike swiftly intervened to halt Sue Ling's attack, having to employ the code phrase "flirting bird" to make her cease her action. It came to light that Sue Ling had depleted all her funds, prompting her to confront Mike earlier and, upon achieving her objective, promptly depart. Truly a resourceful individual. Sue Ling also expressed regret for inadvertently striking the portly uncle. Following this, Fred requested Mike's assistance in locating his online girlfriend, as they had lost touch. To Mike's astonishment, he learned that Fred had transferred a substantial sum of $50,000 to her. This confirmed her disappearance with a significant amount of money. The subsequent morning, Mike embarked on an assassination assignment against a recluse. As he opened the door to tend to the flowers, he spotted the recluse and promptly informed Fred. With Fred's quick hacking skills, the iron door gruesomely separated the recluse's head from his body. Later that evening, Fred donned an old lady disguise and performed a ruse to distract the elderly man, while Mike descended with a ladder and executed a fatal strike to his head. The two partners joined forces to make a living, with Fred focusing on designing tools for their lethal profession. He concocted explosive suits, saw shooting devices, and even death weightlifting gear. During their experimentation, an assassination contract arrived, prompting Mike to counsel Fred to reject it instantly, as it involved Zuzer's son, a notorious magnate who also happened to be one of Mike's clients. Not to mention, Zuzer would relentlessly pursue anyone who dared to harm her mentally challenged child. A week later, Sue Ling continued her assaults on Mike, yet this time, she stayed behind to share a coffee with the two gentlemen. Fred, aware that Sue Ling worked as a security guard at a nearby bar, enlisted her help to locate his online girlfriend. He feared that she might be at risk of being kidnapped and enslaved. One afternoon, the duo of assassins paid a visit to a well-built man with an impressive six-pack. While he was engrossed in a phone conversation, a bathtub plummeted from the upper floor, striking him on the head. Mike and Fred documented their successful endeavor with photographs. However, the two of them were suddenly electrocuted and lost consciousness. Upon awakening, they found themselves bound and captive. A burly figure named Armando attempted to intimidate Mike through physical violence, but Mike remained unfazed and simply chuckled. The situation escalated as Zuzer, the boss, appeared. She mistakenly believed that Mike and Fred had assassinated her son, Dante. Zuzer recounted an incident where Dante's carelessly discarded cigarette led to an explosion outside the bar, rendering him unconscious. Fortunately, Dante survived the ordeal. Realizing the misunderstanding, Mike urged Zuzer to review security camera footage to confirm their innocence. He explained that on the day of the alleged assassination, He and Fred were actually flying above her bar. Fred had been taken hostage, while Mike was released on a nearby street. In order to ensure Fred's safety, Mike was ordered to thwart any attempts on Dante's life. Mike ventured into Siu Ling's bar, encountering the imposing figure of Big Ray, the boss. Big Ray expressed surprise at Mike's presence and handed him a letter from Fred. Big Ray's resentment stemmed from the fact that Mike and Fred were enjoying financial success without involving him. While his own assassination organization had to close due to Mike's actions in the previous part, Big Ray felt betrayed by the very person he had raised. Mike swiftly justified his decision, explaining that the work wasn't consistent enough to involve Big Ray. However, Big Ray's anger remained and he demanded compensation from Mike to offset his losses. Mike, unable to deny his culpability, agreed to provide financial compensation, but Big Ray spat in Mike's face and insisted on double payment. Furthermore, Big Ray pressed Mike to collaborate in assassinating Dante, revealing that he was the one who had taken the contract to kill Dante. Dumbfounded by this revelation, Mike advised Big Ray to abandon the mission due to Fred's kidnapping by Caesar. After some persuasion, Big Ray divulged that he wasn't the sole assassin sent after Dante. Another individual had paid a substantial sum of $50,000 to assemble a team of 6 assassins. The one who successfully eliminates Dante would receive a staggering reward of $9 million. Just as this information was shared, a message arrived for Big Ray, disclosing Dante's whereabouts due to a tracking device he had on him. Mike rushed to Dante's location. Upon arrival, Mike found Dante at the bar, subjecting everyone's ears to his dreadful singing. Mike swiftly warned Armando about the impending threat of assassins due to the tracking devices. Armando, unsurprisingly, informed Mike that Caesar had equipped her foolish son with a watch containing a locator, allowing her to track Dante's movements. Dante, displaying his spoiled nature, vehemently objected to discarding the watch given to him by his mother, even leaping down to confront Mike. Armando recognized the imminent danger and had his subordinate remove the watch. Yet Dante, in an act of sheer idiocy, swallowed it. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the scene, leaving the crowd stunned. Bodyguards rushed to investigate, only to be disoriented by a stun bomb that left them dizzy. Seizing the opportunity, a skilled female assassin named Freya entered and swiftly eliminated the threats with her adept marksmanship and combat skills. She even displayed the impressive ability to dodge bullets, showcasing her remarkable prowess. Mike acted swiftly, guiding Dante into hiding. When Freya began searching the area, Mike managed to disarm her, though she continued her pursuit. In a confrontation, Mike prevented Freya from fatally injuring Dante after he recklessly rushed out and nearly got shot. It was revealed that Mike and Freya were familiar with each other, with Mike requesting her to abandon the mission. However, since Mike had previously eliminated Freya's intended target, she persisted in her attack. The ensuing battle saw Freya relentlessly launching assaults while Mike deftly evaded her strikes, akin to the way I dodge when my mom scolds me. Eventually, Mike managed to disarm Freya and chose not to retaliate, aiming to encourage her departure. Although Freya noticed Mike's gesture of throwing away the gun, she continued her onslaught, this time wielding a knife. The fight escalated to the point of reaching the kitchen, where Freya produced another knife and spotted Dante. Despite her intent to harm him, Mike intervened to prevent tragedy. Freya persistently hurled knives, with Dante's survival seemingly aided by narrative protection. Mike and Freya engaged in an intense duel, with Mike utilizing a kitchen knife. However, Dante unexpectedly struck Mike's head with a frying pan, rendering Mike unconscious. Seizing the opportunity, Freya advanced, but Mike's swift intervention, stabbing Freya from behind, saved Dante once more. Subsequently, Mike contacted Caesar and was instructed to transport Dante to safety to ensure Fred's release. Despite Mike's efforts, Dante remained obstinate and uncooperative. In response, Mike resorted to repeatedly slapping Dante to get his attention, eventually coercing him into a pharmacy. There, Mike administered laxatives to Dante in an attempt to facilitate the expulsion of the swallowed watch, an audacious and unconventional solution to the predicament. On their journey back, Mike found himself once again ambushed by Yendi, who brandished an axe, aiming to harm Dante. Mike swiftly intervened, blocking Yendi's path and ensuring Dante's escape before confronting Yendi himself. After ensuring Dante's safety in a nearby room, Mike engaged Yendi in a fierce battle. The clash of weapons began, with Mike wielding an iron bar to defend against Yendi's axe. Their fight escalated, with Mike using the iron rod to strike Yendi repeatedly. Yendi attempted to disarm Mike by using his hook axe to strip him of the iron rod, but Mike quickly seized Yendi's axe in return. The skirmish continued, ultimately resulting in Mike delivering a fatal blow to Yendi, ending the confrontation. With Dante secure, Mike reached out to Siu Ling to bring her motorbike to transport them. During the journey, Dante continued to pester Mike, prompting Mike to punch him in the mouth, a calculated move to accelerate Dante's digestion while he slept. Siu Ling arrived, momentarily startling Mike, who was ready to defend against a potential threat. However, Siu Ling's true intention was revealed. She expressed interest in becoming an assassin alongside Mike, concerned for her well-being. Mike advised Siu Ling against such a path, emphasizing the irreversible nature of this choice. As events unfolded, the notorious assassin Silas emerged, targeting Dante. However, his attempt was thwarted by the clown assassin Poco, who had a twisted genetic disorder due to which he didn't felt pain. Mard Kodard Nahai Hoda. Poco struck Silas from behind. Siu Ling incapacitated Silas, but Poco's resistance to pain allowed him to endure her attacks. Poco retaliated by attacking Mike, prompting a series of dodges. Mike capitalized on an opening when Poco's weapon broke, landing a punch on him. Poco, fueled by an affinity for pain, displayed bizarre behavior, repeatedly hitting himself on the head. Meanwhile, Siu Ling faced off against Silas, putting up a formidable fight. Back in the room, Dante woke up and began the uncomfortable process of expelling the swallowed watch, returning to Mike's location. He engaged in experimental interactions with the madman clown, to no avail. Siu Ling managed to defeat Silas using a chain and kicks to the head after a challenging struggle. Later, Mike subdued Poco by bludgeoning him to death with a dumbbell. Despite breaking Poco's arm and delivering fatal blows, Poco seemed to derive twisted pleasure from the experience, highlighting his disturbed nature. In the final moments, Mike had no choice but to kick the clown into Fred's weightlifting machine, activating the release button to snap his neck, providing a twisted sense of satisfaction to the demented individual. Swiftly, Mike located Dante to ensure his safety. Simultaneously, Siu Ling rushed to share her newfound accomplishment of having taken a life for the first time. As Dante reached for his discarded watch, another assassin named Oyumi emerged, holding a sword to his neck. Realizing the challenging odds, Mike retrieved Fred's flame gun, using it to intimidate Oyumi. He then issued a challenge to Oyumi, a solo battle, with Dante's life as the wager. Oyumi accepted and incapacitated Dante to face Mike one-on-one. Leaping from above like a character from an anime, Oyumi engaged Mike in combat. Siu Ling attempted to intervene but was knocked unconscious by Oyumi's kick. Mike fought valiantly, predicting Oyumi's moves to exploit his weaknesses. Though overpowered by Oyumi's skill, Mike endured the punishment, utilizing his strategic prowess to create opportunities. As the battle raged on, Oyumi resorted to using his sword, but just as he was about to deliver a fatal blow, Big Ray intervened, shooting Oyumi away. Despite rescuing Mike, Big Ray still aimed to fulfill his mission of killing Dante. After much pleading, Big Ray relented and spared Dante's life. Siu Ling had awakened by this point, and Big Ray transported them to Zuzer's location. Upon meeting, Mike learned the surprising truth that Zuzer had paid a staggering $9 million to have her own son eliminated. Due to Mike's efforts, Dante was still alive. Zuzer maintained the contract but allowed Fred to leave. While Dante continued his rambling, Zuzer's indifference remained, and Fred was finally rescued. Although Fred was relieved to see Big Ray, the celebration was cut short as Big Ray activated a remote control, causing Fred's lab clothes to explode, killing both him and his mother. In a morbid display, Fred's head was sent flying toward 3 individuals. Big Ray, adopting a macabre sense of humor, took a selfie with Mike and Dante's severed head. They returned to Siu Ling's bar to commemorate their victory, where it was revealed that Fred's lover had been abducted and forced into work as a waitress. Their relationship was short-lived, as she fled upon discovering Fred's true identity as a killer. As the story concluded, Big Ray, having received the $9 million from Zuzer, continued his career by establishing a new assassin organization. That's all for today, folks. Like, share, and subscribe for more such content. Curious Knight signing off. Stay safe, stay curious.